All right. So let's just dive right in. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
First of all, Lane is wearing a ridiculous bandana right now and sunglasses indoors.
I am. Yes, I figured a visual bit would be good. I thought it would be a good honorific. Actually, you know what? No, let me roll that back. Rewind. Lane, future Lane, insert a sound effect of rewind. I don't know what you're talking about. This is how I always dress. I always look like this. I'm just,
you're right.
Yeah. This is maybe just the first time you're noticing.
Now, I do have to ask, what are the full colors here? Is it a full rainbow?
It's a full
bandana?
rainbow. Yeah, I have one bandana. So
when I joined, all I saw was the green, the yellow, and what is quite apparently now orange, but I thought it was red, and I thought it was just a Rastafarian bandana
cool.
to begin with.
That would be fun. Yeah, that's the one bandana I mean,
with
own.
the sunglasses and everything too. Yeah, and you're like, this is the only bandana I own. I'm like, did you just buy it? Like, did Chris swipe it from you from the store? Like, what's happening here?
No, it's from like a Pride bar crawl I did a couple years ago. Like I said, the one bandana I owned. I did think, like, should I just grab a black t-shirt and create a bandana? But I figured with the sunglasses it would be visually distinctive enough that I wouldn't need to.
Oh,
you
yeah.
would get
I
the
knew
joke
exactly what you were going for.
Well,
yes.
Christopher did not. When I put it on, I like walked into the room and he saw me like adjusting the sunglasses and he said, "You look like a gay Lieutenant Dan."
We can expand on that later.
Because of the colors of the bandana, not because of Timothy Trevor looking homosexual, but yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, he also like talks about like how easy life would be if he was gay.
Cannot get into this yet.
What?
We can't.
That's why I said we can expand on it later. Okay, come on,
Ricky.
I
think. Introduce the show. What show is this?
This show is We Want to Watch, featuring Ricky, myself, and my co-host here, Lane.
Yes, I'm Lane. I just want us to say hi to all of our watchers, our new watchers, who are coming to this episode as their first ever We Want to Watch, because this is our Pulitzer Prize-winning episode.
Do you think that's like a large number?
Yeah.
Oh, right. You're right.
Everyone's going to be looking this one up. This is going to be the one that gets us through. So
you're right.
I know.
Yep, this is definitely not just going to be another bog standard fucking shitty app where we just giggle and laugh about like fucking shit from the movie that we enjoyed. All right, definitely won't be that, and we will.
Are you sure? Ricky's jaw just dropped because I held.
Are you sure about that?
A college ruled notebook page with so much text on it that I've handwritten that it went into the margins. So. Yep.
I will say I was considering watching this movie and writing down every single
thought you had,
quip, but biddable, biddable moment. And I was
biddable.
Like, you know what? No, I shouldn't. Yeah,
interesting. We might come to blows. We might fight on this episode. Actually, the fact that you just said that, we'll see. We're gonna see. We'll see. Let's talk about. So this was it started as a Rick's pick, and then. It became a Lane's
got slowly hijacked.
Yeah. Hey, I listened back to that episode very recently to edit, and believe it or not, I was actually very gracious and offered you many times that we did not have to double feature your movie with my movie. Yep. So don't act like I strong-armed you into this. And also, I will pull up the Discord chat where you say, actually, this movie's fucking awesome, and I should have watched it as many times as possible. So, I'm just, don't shit on me.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just poking a little bit of fun. So I'm really glad that we watched both of these movies.
Sure.
Side by side. And I think, they're kind of the antithesis of one another in some ways.
Yeah. Sure.
Human world versus, animal world. And also they resemble each other in a lot of ways. I mean, they're both sort of documentaries, right?
Yeah. You're getting really close to the world is a land of contrasts. You're kind of coming
the ways in which we move through the world. But it's interesting that they're both documentaries. They're both Kino. So Man with a Movie Camera was from the Kino movement.
Introduce the movies officially. We haven't done that yet.
Oh, you're right.
I'll introduce mine if you introduce yours. No, I'm not. This is our Pulitzer episode. We have to be on top of the ball.
Gotta be professional about it. You're right.
Yeah.
So the first movie that we watched was Man with a Movie Camera, from 1929, directed by Dziga Vertov. Sorry that I've said that wrong, but
sorry to that man.
There it is.
Yeah. We double featured this with Grizzly Man from 2005, directed by Werner Herzog. I don't need you to. I know that. Yeah, we're good.
I was waiting for you.
That was the Lane's frame. Yours was the Rick's pick. So go ahead. You're bursting at the seams of things to say.
I am. Last week when you introduced that movie, you also said it like that, but it was way more rapid fire. Almost as though you had like a demon inside of you, like clawing its way out. I did. And you just couldn't stop yourself.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Well, because like I said, I listened back to that episode to edit it recently, and I heard it in me. Like the minute that you were basically like,
it was
like
insane.
I was like, no, we don't have to watch it. It's fine. We don't have to. It's okay. Double feature. We don't have to do that. And you were like, no, it's fine. And then after like the set number of allowances I gave you to say no, and you said no, it's fine. It came out to be like the Exorcist vomit. Like it was just like it was a hose. Yeah, it was the Evil Dead.
A bit scary.
Yeah. So
did you watch the new one, by the way? Burn?
No, I was gonna go see it last night, and then I came home and watched Grizzly Man again instead.
Let's go! Yeah, hell yeah!
Yeah, I was like, I'll do a double feature at the movies with The Invite, which just came out, and then Evil Dead Burn, and then I was like, or I could go home and watch Grizzly Man.
Grizzly. And I think you made the right choice there. Let's be honest here. You did.
I'll still go see Evil Dead at some point, but yeah. Anyway.
So when you watched Man with the Movie Camera. Mm-hmm. I just want to ask first, where did you watch it?
I watched it on Tubi. I was going to message you about this, and then I figured it's too late. Whatever. We're just coming in. Because I originally started it on YouTube, the silent version, I think it was. Or maybe it was something. Okay. And then I was like, I feel like I'm missing something without having a soundtrack, because obviously this was a silent film, but they released soundtracks for these things. So I ended up pivoting to Tubi, which had a soundtrack for it, which I thought was fine and suitable.
Which soundtrack did you hear?
I mean, I don't know. Like, the one that sounded good. What did you also watch the one on Tubi? Or?
Was it like a jazz electronic? No, I watched the one on YouTube. Okay.
No, it was more like YouTube. Classic.
The soundtrack.
Yeah.
The
soundtrack
doesn't start until like the band in the film starts playing, and then like it sparks and sort of goes from there.
Okay, that's cool.
The album itself is quite. So I wasn't sure. I was like, this is a silent film, right? And a couple of times I was like, there's no fucking way that these songs were produced
came out
during the time of this movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, but goddamn, these cats are swinging. Can you just throw on and like you can have this on in the background while we pod, just lightly. Just listen to the soundtrack. It's fucking crazy, bro.
I didn't do a ton of research on Man with a Movie Camera, because I was like, well, that's a Rick's pick. That's for Rick to do research on, and he will definitely do
I can talk about the background behind it.
No. I mean, no, I knew that there were multiple soundtracks, so I'm curious if we could pick out which one is which. Oh, there's a lot of soundtracks listed.
There's a lot of fucking soundtracks.
Well, this is kind of. Do you know the site? Do you just taking us at a? Oh, okay. So the one I watched was the Michael Nyman band score. So
interesting.
That's from 2002. So.
Okay. That's funny. Both of ours were from 2002, but one.
So you watched the other
was
one.
The Michael Nyman.
The British Jazz and Electronic Outfit, the Cinematic Orchestra.
from the Cinematic Orchestra. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You could honestly just put on the Cinematic Orchestra album off of that, and it's
okay.
They're swinging. It does get a bit repetitive at times, which is like kind of fine. I think it's trying to mimic a lot of what the movie does.
I noticed that with Metropolis. When we watched Metropolis, that soundtrack that I heard for that one also had like a repetitive, like it almost sounded like it ended and restarted. I feel like at some point, at least the version I watched. So I kind of wonder if that might have also been the case with the one you watched. I don't know, having not heard it, but yeah.
I don't know. It was like, I don't know. There were some parts which I thought were like really inspired, and there's a lot of good solos and stuff, and it blends well with like what's happening on screen, and I think it really added to the viewing experience, just because I mean they were like obviously trying to line up in between like scene transitions, yada yada, and like matching sort of like the slower pace shots with slower music, the faster shots with faster music, and like and even just matching like sort of the amount of action happening on screen with like the music. The music, I will say, added a lot more to the voyeuristic aspect of the movie itself.
Sure.
in many ways. Because, like, some of the tunes, I feel like a burglar, like, creeping around the roof. It was like, do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, I don't know. It was like Pink Panther-esque or something.
Was also also had a bit of a sneaky vibe to it at times. So yeah. Playful, though, more often than not. Playful and sorrowful. You know, I think there was a good range. So, and, you know, I didn't really know what to expect with this movie. I'm curious why you brought this up. I have a theory, but I don't know what made you pick this movie for sure. But yeah, so like I kind of didn't have a lot of expectation going into this. And I was pretty impressed with like how modern and how sophisticated a lot of this movie felt. Even though it was I mean, nonsensical in a lot of ways, but also not. You know what I mean? Like, I found it, even though it's not a narrative film or a documentary, really, it's like a secret third thing. It's like almost like a filmed novel, or like not a novel, but like a film collage. It reminds me of F for Fake, actually, of all things. So, yeah.
I was thinking more News from Home, or Letters from Home. No,
News from Home. You were right the first time.
News from Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's more what I was expecting going into this movie. And so for a minute, I thought YouTube had messed up and like put a different album over top of it. But then like it lined up so perfectly with like what was happening. I was like, no, it has to be intentional. And I was like, I really gotta say, I think the music helped a lot. So the reason I chose the movie was, and you can read this on Wikipedia for people who don't want to hear me drone about it, but Vertov, belonged to a movement of filmmakers known as the Kinoks, or Kinokis, like Kino Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they, I think, got very loose with the definition of like documentary in order to try to like perpetuate this idea that like, oh, all movies should be documentaries.
I saw that, as like a kind of like in a Marxist way, which is very interesting. But like, I don't know. Yeah, one thing I did see about this was that there was beef between Vertov and like some of those other guys, and who's the motherfucker who did Metropolis? Speaking of Metropolis, the second time.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Fritz Lang. Yeah,
Lang.
No, not Fritz Lang. Who am I thinking? No, Battleship Potemkin. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
another like sort of contemporary, right?
Yeah.
For
but
the time, at least.
Yeah, Eisenstein. That's who I couldn't think of. But yeah, so you know, Eisenstein was like, "This is empty. This means nothing. Like, there's no propaganda here," which is not true. But yeah, it's kind of funny that they had this competing philosophy that still feels that they both achieved their goals. Like, it's good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe part of the reason that you picked this was because of the Sight and Sound poll. Have we talked about this? Do you know Sight and Sound?
No.
This is a magazine.
No.
Sight and Sound is that, you know, every like decade or something they do like a poll of like the greatest movies of all time. Let me pull up the list so you can see. They do like a top 10, I think.
Yeah. But is this on there?
Yeah. But I want you to look at the list under the critics poll specifically, but also you could look at both. Clicking. That's okay.
Oh, nice. Okay, Jean Dielman, right?
Yeah.
Citizen Kane, Tokyo Story, as we've seen. In the Mood for Love, wow. 2001, A Space Odyssey, which we haven't seen for the pod, but I have seen. Yeah. We haven't watched Vertigo either, have we?
No, we have not. I don't really fuck with Vertigo.
We've seen a couple of Hitchcocks, though.
We have.
I think that was on Netflix. It was one
saw
that
Psycho
I didn't
and
watch.
The Birds. Yeah.
Oh, Beau Travail, Mulholland Drive. The Man with the Movie Camera.
And then Singing in the Rain, which I mentioned like 2 weeks ago as a movie we needed to watch when we were talking about Fiddler.
Oh my god, wow.
Yeah, so we've hit almost all of them. That's crazy. Yeah, which is cool.
Fingers on the pulse. We want to watch.
Do. Yeah. It's
we want to be ahead of the times, actually.
We want to get that Pulitzer. Yeah. But it's cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool that we've hit some of these and that you picked, this one kind of unprompted. Now, I'm sure... How had you heard about this movie? Because, like, this, no offense, this is a pretty obscure one. At first, when this movie kind of first got going, I was like within the first, 10 minutes, there's a train, like the scene of the train coming toward, and I was like, this isn't a train arrives to the, like, where, the old, like, the Lumiere film, like, a train arrives at the station. I was like, is that related to this at all? And it's not. I mean, this movie must be from like 20 years later, but like, I was like, how did Ricky discover this movie if not through critics polls? Yeah.
No. Well, it was someone randomly on Twitter. So
Twitter. Here we go. You can
so it was off of Twitter.
Slide that in.
So somebody mentioned that like this was the movie that like coined the term Kino.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is why I was like, oh, that's funny. And also, I believe the thread was about like the voyeuristic nature of film, which is something I was thinking about last week a bit. And then like I don't know, with the double documentaries and like I was like, it's so. And I want to talk about that a lot more in Grizzly Man, and we can really get into it there.
You can say whatever you want now. Ricky just literally rolled up his sleeves. So just since this podcast is an audio medium.
Yeah. I think here it's like, obviously our guy is trying to make a statement, like the director, right?
Yeah.
And he uses a lot of real like fun, like movie, like
for sure.
shots and techniques and stuff.
I didn't know that they could do double exposure back then. I know that's crazy because like this movie's only a decade older than like The Wizard of Oz, a little more than a decade older than Rebecca. So if you think of like the way this movie looks and kind of like just even like things like the quality of the image and lighting versus like something like Wizard of Oz or Rebecca or whatever, like it just seems so much older in a way, similar to like Battleship Potemkin, I think we talked about. So it's cool to be like they were still doing weird shit with the camera, back then.
He's also like making homages to like other films, especially like early films, right? Like the train coming out of the camera, the horse. Like the first like 11 frame film. Like he does a lot of his own like fun sort of shots with that. I'm sure there's so many more that like I just didn't pick up on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You're not a big scholar of early 1900s film.
No, I'm not. Sadly, but I mean, I'd like to watch more of those sorts of things so that we can pick up on them. And we can be like, "Yo, you remember when Man with the Movie Camera when they had like shots like that?" And it's so funny that like I don't know.
Just to sidebar on like early film, I don't watch a ton of stuff pre 1930 really. Like that's just not. I don't seek it out. But last year, around Halloween, Christopher and I pulled up a bunch of the like Lumiere, like old, like shorts, like the ones that are like, they're less than 5 minutes. And they're like, they're narrative. They're like silly art kind of stuff. Or, a lot of them were like spooky. And it was really satisfying to watch. They were like, not just like the charming kind of like, way that they shoot the movie, like you're like, oh, I see what they did, I see how they did that special effect and like that sort of thing, but also just like the jokes are funny, like you're like, oh this is funny. Like they I don't know, people have not changed that much where like someone like fainting at the sight of a beautiful woman is like still very funny. I don't know.
Yes. So that struck me with this also. I think Zach and I have seen a couple of like small shorts, like the real old shorts of this, and like we've definitely laughed at them, but like that struck me while watching this movie a few times. There's like
it's a lot of modernity.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of shots which are just like super similar to like what like filmmakers like use today in terms of like crowds and like like singular people and like how they focus. But like even some of the more like natural shots where it was just like I'm thinking right now of the kids at the park sort of enjoying like this like the magician guy.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had that same exact experience a century later.
Me too. Yeah, how do you get those rings apart?
Crazy.
He takes the rings apart.
How do you do that? How do you it's so universal. It's great.
When the kid like the kid's like jaw drops and you're just like, oh yeah, of course. I know exactly how that feels. Yeah.
It made me honestly I'm not gonna no, I am gonna it made me kind of sad to think of how quickly the cultural landscape has shifted with technology, where that's not really, that's not really a thing anymore.
What do you mean? Like, what's not a thing?
Like random magicians performing.
I
don't know, in public.
True. No, I get that. I totally understand.
Yeah,
I get that. We should watch.
I guess public entertainers or something. Yeah.
There's a good This is off base entirely, but there's a good documentary about the Amazing Randy Have you ever heard that name? Do you know who he is? He's kind of like he was a magician and a skeptic, kind of like Penn and Teller. I almost said Ben and Teller.
Okay.
But so he was like an accomplished magician in his own right, but he did a lot of like going around and kind of like debunking or like trying to prove fraud. That like, people who were taking it from beyond like magicians to defrauding people by being like, I can heal your illness, like I'm a faith healer, or like I can do telekinesis and stuff like that. So there's a good and it gets into his personal life and like how he represents himself in the public versus what his personal life is like, and how is it like fraudulent in that, and like what's the truth. Anyway, it's good. If you like, I mean, this is just a generic, I guess, plug for that movie in general. I can't remember the name of it, which is upsetting. I'll Google it. But yeah, it's really good. I think you would like it, especially Ricky. But I almost just typed in The Amazing Ricky instead of The Amazing Randy Cringe. An Honest Liar. So it's good. Yeah, if you're ever in the mood for a just a good documentary, very satisfying, it's good.
Always.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel you though. It is like there's parts of this movie that are like so modern, and also like not that they're like they feel modern, but then there are things that feel dated, not because like, wow, I can't believe 100 years ago they did this, but more like you're saying like, wow, I can't believe 10 years ago we still did that and now we don't. Like some of that is really recognizable.
That kind of weirded me out a little bit, that I was like, oh, it's weird that like I could feel more kinship with like the experiences of 100 years ago than like the experiences of today.
Yeah, sure.
Like growing up, essentially, or like what have you. And it's like that feels very odd,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And obviously, like, this movie was not made with that in mind, but I do think that it's like kind of important. I don't know.
No,
the soundtrack also fucking knocks out the part.
This movie did remind me of Metropolis. I know Metropolis is German and kind of a different a different perspective on things, but a lot of the like man and machine of it all, I want to stop saying that. I need to stop saying of it all. I hate that tick. It started to bug me the way that the ways in which bugs me. I need you to get out the spray bottle. Every time you hear me say of it all, like the of it all, like I need the spray. But no, the
of it all isn't the worst to have, though.
Of it all, you said? Oh, you're
of it all. Yeah, of it all isn't the worst to have. I mean,
I don't like it.
It's not the worst of it all.
I don't mind saying just like the phrase of it all. It's in that
adding
specific.
It at the end.
Well, in that very specific like instead of saying anything substantive, just saying the blank of it all. Like I don't like that. That has I've gotten the ick on my own turn of phrase that I'm sure adopted from some fucking podcaster or whatever, or like the Atlantic writer that I don't like or something. Anyway, I think it's lazy. I'm self-own. Right, my bad. But anyway, the
laziness of it all.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. You can't do this. We have new watchers listening in on our Pulitzer episode about Grizzly
and the novelty of it all. How great is this for them?
Featured us in the fucking New York Times and the New Yorker about this, and the Times.
Wow.
Yeah, and this they got us on NPR tomorrow, and you're gonna act this way?
Oh my god,
it's crazy. Yeah, they booked us on NPR. This lends us
an interview with Timmy Chalamet.
Chalamet? What's he got anything to do? Do you think he works for the New York Times? The New York Tims?
No, I just... you dropped the E. No, I just think, like, if we can drum up enough sort of interest and stuff, we can book an interview with him. About, like, maybe Marty Supreme or something, huh?
You should just start tweeting...
Dune 3. We go on the red carpet with him. So, go on.
How about you tweet at Chalamet and see how he feels about Grizzly Man? Just like tweet incessantly about him and see what he thinks of Grizzly Man, and just see how it goes.
Yeah. I'll be like, did you like ever watch this growing up? I'll be like, have you seen this movie, Timmy? Have you seen this?
Timmy,
check it, bro.
Just like different pictures of Treadwell.
Yeah.
Anyway, setting aside the very kind of crazy film techniques. Right? All of the like reverse footage, which reminded me of Inception. Like the I know that's gonna sound crazy, but like the slow-mo and like the bird's eye view of crowds really reminded me of Inception. Like the kind of like diagonal angle of crowds. Like that yeah.
That's what I was talking about, or that's what I kind of had in mind when I was talking about, like, some shots that are, like, commonly used today. I mean, obviously, it feels like a lot of them, just because, like, they're throwing so many at the wall, but, like...
That's true.
I feel like I've seen that in so many movies, you know? Like, there's that, like, orthogonal shot, almost, of, like, you're just, like, looking down at crowds. It's so... Yeah. yeah.
Another...
It's a very odd third person, but, again, it's... this movie... And especially, like, with the train scene you were talking about earlier, and, like, where they're interposing, like, him getting the shot and, like, the shot itself back and forth on one another.
Yeah,
or it's cool.
The editor, too, like, she's editing things within the film, like, that's fun. You know, I really thought this... Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just... The voyeurism of it all. It's, like, it's so, like...
Ew.
It's so, like, hey, like, the director is one who is, like watching, and they're bringing you in, and so like you can watch together, and it's, I don't know, I was thinking about this a lot with like Nightcrawler, and like you talk about like the obsession, and I'm sorry, I'm going to connect this to a lot of things.
We can't do this. We cannot do obsession.
Not that movie, not the movie Obsession. I mean like the guy's obsession with. All right, I'll
cool off. I'm sorry. I've got paragraphs to read about Grizzly Man. All right?
Dude,
I'm on a but fucking like tight wire. I'm high strung.
I know.
All right?
I know.
This headband is tied too tight around my head. I don't know how Treadwell did it. Anyway.
Should have taken tips. But yeah,
tips.
Let me just, connect this. You were talking about Lou's obsession with like filmmaking and to like the point of like consuming his entire life, and like obviously like he didn't really have morals before this, but like how a sort of like moralist, I don't know how to phrase it, but like one who is like fine with, I don't know, doing whatever, not very connected to humanity, right?
Yeah.
And like a sociopath, yeah. And how they like would create scenes that they feel like pull best at the heartstrings, and like how they orchestrate them, and like that's so interesting because it's, I mean, to a certain degree true, right? Like I get what they were like attacking with that, but it's also true of like other movies, like the director is trying to like elicit a certain response from the audience based off of the like the character, the actor's performance, right? The portrayal. And I think there's a lot that can be said about that in Grizzly Man as well. And there's a lot of fucking scenes that are like so.
We will get there. We will get there.
That I know that as like an idea, but seeing it here where there's no real actors, I guess.
Yeah, but there's still this like artifice because like in the beginning I'm like, okay, this is like pretty chaotic, like it's like more poetry than narrative, but there's it doesn't seem super staged.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But then thank you, I'm so smart sometimes, that's why we won this Pulitzer. But the
that's what they'll put on the New York Times cover.
You're so smart. Wayne.
It's more poetry than narrative.
Oh no, I thought it's just my picture. Dressed like Timothy Treadwell.
Oh.
In black and white, you can't tell the bandana is a pride bandana.
I was thinking you would be Trent, right? I would be the bear in the background, right? And then
we're going to talk about this.
That's the shot, and those are the words on the front.
We're going to talk about this.
Okay, all right.
No, the first few like scenes, right, they don't feel super staged, but then the train stuff, you're like, oh yeah, well obviously this is staged. Like this is, this isn't just I'm shooting a train. Like I'm being involved in the shot. They're kind of cutting it to make it look like he gets run over at the one point. Like they show a shot of his shoes shaking, which is funny. And then throughout the movie, they do more kind of like they get more and more crazy with it. Like I don't know that I've ever seen a shot like they show at the end of this, where the editor, I think it is blinking, and every time she blinks, it's a different flash of another image. I forget what they're cross-cutting it with, but it's like cross-cutting while she's blinking. Do you know which part I'm talking about? It goes on for like 10 seconds.
I do know what you're talking about, yeah.
And it's like super fast. I was like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen a movie do that. Like the blinking, like obviously cross-cutting quickly, like while a character is looking at something maybe, but not not that. And it just, with the whole motif of the camera lens being an eye, like you're talking about, it's kind of surprising that I have not, or, you know, that it doesn't seem to be a super common, like, reference point. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially with, like, we're talking about, like, how many shots this movie has inspired in further movies. And we talked about that with, like, earlier movies as well, like Metropolis, Battleship Potemkin, and, like, how they sort of inspire movies. Or like, there are particular scenes that it's, like, very easy to say, like, oh, like, this looks like something Potemkin, that has been used elsewhere. Right.
Especially.
Yeah. But, I mean, here, Metropolis, I'm thinking of the flashlight scene. But, like, here, there's like, and the baby. Yeah, I mean, it's
the baby.
Like, there's a lot in both. Right?
Battleship Potemkin, but yes,
And Battleship.
Yeah.
But here, like I said earlier, there's just they're throwing so many darts at the wall, right? That I mean, I guess there are things that, like, people just don't use nowadays. I mean, maybe there are eras of film that, like, they picked up on more of this stuff. I don't know.
Well, like
it's so, like, tightly packed. Like, it's an hour long, but
it is. There's a lot of shit happening. There's like
they're zipping through shots.
Yeah.
I mean, you called it a not a montage earlier. What'd you call it?
Montage? I said poem. I said montage. I don't remember what I said. Yeah. Collage, I think I might have said too. A collage. Yeah. There's a few, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, like, right, back in the 20s, I'm sure, like, 50 people invented some of these things all independently, like things like match cuts or double exposure. But at the same time, it's kind of cool to see, like, you know, if you are putting a double exposure in your movie, you're kind of like, you're calling your shot back to an old movie. Like, some of these techniques have fallen by the wayside, and some of them haven't, right? Like, obviously, like, you still see match cuts, you still see Dutch angles, you still see close-ups. You don't see as much slow-mo, especially in something like a documentary. Like, you don't see that very often, or, like, double exposure,
or sped-up shots.
Yeah, speed.
They do a lot of funny sped-up shots here, you know? Like, a lot.
Yeah. But so
don't really see that at all.
Like you said, that some of the things are kind of dated to a specific era. Like, it is kind of funny. Like, if you see double exposure in a movie, it feels corny oftentimes, and you know, or like it feels almost like vintage in a way. So it's cool. Yeah,
it's neat. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I have anything else interesting or insightful to say about this movie.
I see. I will say, I mentioned earlier, I don't love Vertigo. That's just not my movie. That's not my Hitchcock. That's not even top 5 Hitchcock for me. I was very disappointed, although I should watch it again. However, if you like a movie about voyeurism, you should fucking watch Vertigo, because that's the movie to do it to. That movie is all about looking. Hitchcock's a perv, so it fits, but that movie's like his perv magnum opus. So if you're into that, especially like filmmaking, you know, there's all that kind of stuff.
Jean Dillman's way up there too with the whole, like, voyeurism, you know. I feel like and I mean, you're looking at, like, Citizen Kane, Tokyo Story, you're seeing people at the end of their lives, something in In the Mood for Love. It's like, and even Beau Travail is, like, a huge emotional, like, you're seeing people in very intimate aspects of their lives.
Literally every
it's just
movie.
very compelling.
I mean, you're talking about every movie.
You're right. Yeah.
But I'm kind of surprised, you know, what about Blow Up? Blow Up is also a movie about voyeurism, and you hated that.
That's true.
I mean, I
wasn't a fan.
I think anytime a movie is, like, about voyeurism, I feel like I don't love it. Like, I feel
it's
like
just less fun. I think they don't have anything interesting to say, because I don't think they're acknowledging the fact that, like, the director is the voyeur, like, observing this, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you could do some, I think, more fun, interesting stuff. That movie just kind of, I don't know.
Did you like Funny Games? I can't remember. I know you watched it, but did you like it? That's a movie about voyeurism. Yeah.
And I think it also pretty directly, like, references it too. At least the newer one with the
I mean, that movie's very,
no spoilers.
Implicates the audience, kind of a thing.
Well, cool. Which I think is a fun commentary. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree. I don't find it a very compelling thing. Like, it's not that I'm like, who even gives a shit about voyeurism? But I feel like so often I find it almost, like, alienating, or, like, not something that interests me at all, especially because so often it's coupled with gawking at a woman, like in Vertigo. A huge part of Vertigo is like the act of looking at women, and so I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm trying to search for a better term, but like that's the only one that I kind of.
I don't think you're wrong. And, like, I mean, you can have your own little things that you like in a movie. You know, that is okay. Yeah. You can have a distinct identity on this podcast, Ricky. It's fine.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about voyeurism, Grizzly Man is like the voyeuristic film, no? Is it not? You don't think so?
Oh, I don't think so. Voyeurism isn't even in the top 1,000 things I think about this movie. Of all the 1,000 things I've thought, that's not even, it's just not ever a lens I like really consider, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because I find it, like I said, it's so tied up with like the feeling of being looked at is so integral to the experience of being a woman or being a girl. And like, I'm burnt out on it. Like I'm tapped out. I don't want to deal with it anymore. So I'm like, there's more interesting, depths to plumb with like movies, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there are like any movies that I like love where that's the reason or like that's the like angle of approach that I'm kind of like rooted in when I watch it and like it. I don't know. I don't know that there is.
I'll say, and I don't know. You can just kind of say that this is like. Not all movies, but like many movies. Let me reframe this. Did you ever see the one movie with like Robin Williams where he like goes through people's memories at the end of their lives and then like makes a movie cut of them and like shows it to their loved ones? Like that's.
No, I don't know. Is that the Bicentennial Man? Are you confusing multiple movies? Is this a movie you've seen?
I might be.
I think you might be thinking of 1 Hour Photo. 1 Hour Photo is like Robin Williams plays a photo technician or photo developer. I don't know about a movie where he plays a guy who makes like a home video at the end of their lives. Is that a thing?
It's not a home video. It's
or like a supercut.
Yeah. I guess it is kind of like a home video, but it's like taken of the like people's memories, right? And then. Essentially, the movie is about someone who has to take a cut from that guy's memories, right?
The Final Cut. It does star Robin Williams.
Final Cut.
It's a sci-fi psychological thriller. Oh, starring our boy Jim Caviezel. How great!
Damn. Sorry I fucking.
No, you nailed it.
Yeah, but I already I kind of spoiled it.
Oh, not really. Williams plays a professional who specializes in editing the memories of unsavory people.
That's okay. Okay, that's like the first. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to talk too much about it, but this movie I watched as like a kid, and like again, very very fucking voyeuristic. Obviously, it's like he's literally like seeing through and he's like sorting through their memories, and that was always so like tender to me. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, like this is such like at least the way I remember it, they portray it in like he's dealing with some very like difficult, people. Like there's a lot of like emotions and stuff behind it, and like maybe not good people either. But trying to portray them in the best light he can to the people who still survive. Sure. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of a kind thing, right? No matter how you
there's honor
sort of slice it.
Yeah. Dignity.
Yeah. In many ways, Werner Herzog, when looking through these hundreds of hours of footage of this guy. It is showing to us a very sort of curated lens of like what he's captured, and it's
yeah.
I mean, paired with his narrative, I don't know, it's super impactful. I'll say I did cry a couple of times during this movie.
This movie fucking rocks. This movie, this is one of the most. I don't want to say emotion. I've seen this. This might be the movie I've seen the most in my whole life. If I were just like going hours band for band, like it might be Grizzly Man. And like I don't think I have like a deep connection to it, but not necessarily an emotional one at this point. It's just I find it so. It has like an emotional quality to it that I find really enigmatic, even though it doesn't. It's not like a movie that moves me, if that makes sense, but a movie that I find. Like I don't recall if I've ever been moved to tears by this necessarily, but like I definitely this is a movie. But I mean, I think it takes certain things for a movie to make me cry. But like I do find this movie,
I'm an easy mark.
Yeah, but no shade. But I do think like this movie holds a certain. I don't know, sway over me, or like it holds a special place in my heart, I guess. I'm just going to get into a little bit of my background with this. I know you probably didn't have any, because when I first mentioned it to you like 6 months ago, you were like, what the fuck is Grizzly Man? I'm going to watch this and it's going to suck. So I assume you haven't heard of it before this. Had you heard anything about him? Or I know you have seen Herzog movies before, but...
I have heard of the guy. Okay. And so I knew his story.
Sure.
So like... I don't know, like, knew what was going to happen. I also kind of knew, like, the people were not big on it, you know? Like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This movie, like, so obviously it's from 2005. It used to play in my house when I was a kid a lot. This is, so I haven't really talked about, like, personal stuff on the podcast. I'm taking the glasses off because wearing sunglasses at night indoors is like hurting my eyes.
Whoa, the bandana's coming off too. Whoa!
The bandana, yeah. Oof. All right, rest in peace, Treadwell. But a huge part of like the daily / weekly ritual, like in my house growing up, was like watching movies. For hours every morning. Like my dad would sit in the living room on his couch, his spot, and play either Turner Classic Movies or IFC, the Independent Film Channel, for the first 6 to 8 hours of the day. And that was often for like, Saturday and Sunday. That was it, unless we were doing something else. And like, this movie, I don't know if I guess when I first saw it, I probably would have been about 10 or 11. Like it probably would have been hitting cable like fresh around that time. And I just remember him watching it and putting it on so many times, enough to where I was like very familiar with this movie before I really ever sat down and watched it all the way through. And when I was older and I watched it myself, I was so like, this was like one of the movies that like cracked my third eye open with cinema, because, and like empathy in cinema, because my dad watching this, he was gawking at the spectacle of like this, fag is like out there being a tree hugger. Basically everything that they read the hate mail.
Oh, the hate
the Gadies. Yeah, just like that. So to watch it again when I was a little older on my own and being like, oh, so many people watched this movie and like took away the most like asinine, hateful, like gawking spectacle of like an impression. It was so sad. And like now every time I watch it, I feel like I find something new about it. And it like it was one of the earliest movies that I had that experience with, like watching it again as an adult and seeing someone like be wrong about the takeaway,
Yeah. Can I say the hate mail?
Yeah.
So, well, all right, and maybe,
you're gonna be like, it's mild in comparison to how it is now. I agree. If that's where you're going.
So fucking funny that like it's especially the way that he has to clarify. He goes, "Oh,
Dems, meaning Democrats."
All these, so funny.
Yeah,
because he says like libs and all libs and Dems should be like eaten by bears. If I, it goes, Dems means Democrats. It's like, but like, yes, also like tame by today's standard. There's some stuff that it's like, oh, okay, like, the one guy was like, oh, I think there should be like, we should repopulate the U.S. with bears. Like, we need more bears everywhere, campus. Especially on Berkeley campus. It's like, dude. I mean, A, fucking dickheads never change, but True. B, it's like, it's that was so funny to me because it's literally the exact same things that you hear nowadays.
Yeah,
and
it's like the kids on the college campus. Like, if they should have just been like, if they had been like, Timothy Treadwell is a blue-haired, whatever communist. It would have been this, like, yeah.
Again, it's the same thing. It's literally like 1 degree. I don't know. It's so funny.
Yeah. No, I mean. Let's lead
with
that.
I know, horrible though. Like that sucks,
Yeah, no, it is. It does.
Really bad, but
I think what you're saying about like what you mentioned about what footage Herzog portrays. Like I'm gonna be an aggro here. I think if you watch this movie and you come away with like a very like scornful, shitty opinion of Treadwell, or like you think that that's what Herzog wanted you to take away from this film, like I think you should be Clockwork Orange forced to watch it over and over again until you realize what the point is, because like, and like obviously you don't have to agree with what a filmmaker is trying to show you, but like again, just like it's such a like that is like the wheat from the chaff of like if you are a serious person who seriously engages with a movie. I sound pretentious now, but this is the episode I'm allowing it for. This is the movie to prove it. You know, like if you came away from this without even a little bit of empathy for him, based on what Herzog is showing, I think you're like, you need to go back to school. Not you, generic
is so
you.
gentle.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Herzog is so gentle with his portrayal, and like even in his narration when he's showing his disapproval, it's in a very sort of like I won't say mild mannered type of way, but essentially, you know, and not to. I'm gonna fuck it up again. I'm gonna say
that's okay.
This is maybe a weird comparison to make, but a lot of the care and joy that Herzog is like showing towards like Timothy Treadwell here, Tim.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to the care that Tim shows to the bears, and like at least to like this area.
Sure.
And I don't know. I think there's a comparison to be made between the two. Like,
yeah. Sure.
Especially because Herzog is essentially like curating, like all of his moments. But like Tim was the main actor and director for the most part.
Sure.
And Herzog gets to like come in and do. I mean, obviously there are parts of this movie outside of, but
like
he's
a
mainly doing
large
the editing
part of it
like,
is structured around the structure of this movie and like when he chooses to like. Right, it would be very easy to just show, like, a greatest highlights kind of clip of, like, you know, here's the most fascinating or most aggro footage or, like, the most salacious stuff, obviously. There are times when he does not do that, right? He, you know, and there's so much of this movie that's, like, he does this interesting trick of, like, drawing attention to his opinions, which a documentarian doesn't always do. Right? If we're thinking of like Hospital, right? If you remember that movie, just to use like the most extreme example, that movie has no like directorial like presence in that movie. Like there's no one stepping in as the director, you know. So like Wiseman's not in there being like, this is my thoughts on, you know, the healthcare system or like poverty. You know, other like, you know, fucking Super Size Me or
dude, even Man with a Movie Camera, right? Like,
sure, yeah. Whereas, like, you know, Herzog, like, you know, that his decision not just to have a presence in the movie, but also to offer his opinion on it, I think is so, again, gentle, but still a really bold choice for somebody who tends to have kind of a bit of a remove in his directorial style. And it has this effect of, like, drawing attention to the mental illness that is obviously at play with Treadwell without being like glib or disrespectful. Like, because he's kind of like, I disagree with him here about like the role of nature or like whatever, or our role in nature. You know, I think that's like, I think that's a really intelligent, like empathetic way to kind of show, you know, obviously you can draw your own conclusions from some of the rantings and ravings and what we know about Treadwell's life, obviously, but like I think Herzog does a good job of kind of keeping that almost like in the back of your mind without having to comment on it directly.
Yeah, I mean there are some shots that are like back to back, which I think are the structure. So so there's the one where it's like out in the wilderness, and I think it's like where they're talking about like when he died, right? And then it immediately cuts to his home, and like it's like the grass outside, and like the shot like right outside of their house, and it was so, and then like Werner Herzog's narrative comes in, and he's like, oh, like this is what he had to get away from, you know, and it's like, and then like it goes inside to like him and his parents, and like Werner Herzog's interviewing them, and like they have a bunch of bears plushies and stuff, and it's so again tender, but it's, I don't know.
It's not contemnatory, but it's also not like just. I'm sorry. I just noticed that I've reviewed this 7 times on Letterboxd. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I have the picture up here. You know, before like at like 5:00 today. We're recording it pretty late, and I was like, "Oh, I have a few hours before the podcast. What do you want to do?" And Chris was like, "Well, do you want to watch Grizzly Man, babe? Like, do you want to put it on again? Like, do you want to watch it again?" It's like, no.
Yeah, kind of.
But no, yeah, I think he's not condemnatory, but he's also not laudatory. He's not just like papering over oh, he was a completely fine guy who just like got a shitty end of the stick, or like he was a martyr. Like he's chosen warts and all.
Yeah. He's also not like, oh, this guy was like some crazy loon, like former drunk, yada yada. Yeah. Right. But he is very honest with like, hey, this guy like did have some issues, and like he's pretty open about talking about them.
Yes.
But like only in nature. And so
well,
I don't know. Yeah.
He also, just talking about like the structure, like the composition, or like the the joining of certain shots, the way this movie is segmented, right? It's not a story. It leads pretty early with what happened. There's not like some big reveal at the end, right? We're getting like an emotional reveal in a way, but not like a narrative reveal. The shot that comes to mind, right, and really talking about warts and all, like Herzog's not afraid to show the brutality of all of this, is that he goes from the interview with the coroner, which again, we'll talk about the coroner and like all the people in his orbit. But he basically pairs that immediately with the fight, the bear fight. They're talking about like Tim and Amy got torn apart, like they got completely, like wrecked, and like the coroner's describing it all. And then they show this like 5 minutes of unbroken footage of the two bears fighting. And like it's it serves as like a way of like taking you out of that very bizarre coroner interview, but then it's also like showing you like the violence without, it's like implicating it's making you think about it.
It's also like awe-inspiring, right? And watching that as well,
the footage is fucking crazy. The footage in this
it's
movie
fucking
is
crazy,
unreal. Yeah.
At least for me, like certain aspects of this, like you do understand why he's out there, right? You're like, oh fuck, like it's like oh okay, like this is, I don't know, like
compelling.
Some of the times when he's talking about stuff, it is super compelling. Some of the times when he talks about it, right, he's like, oh, I'm like the lone defender, and like it's obvious that he's like playing it up and he's like being a character for like parts of it, and then parts of it are like, oh, like he is kind of like lost in a delusion here.
Yeah.
And you don't really know where the line is with that.
Yeah.
But also, it's fucking insane. Like, these things are beasts, huge hulking beasts.
Yeah, 15 feet tall, like kind of shit, like crazy. Yeah.
You mentioned one shot later on in the film where Herzog he shows his disagreement with Timothy about like the man's like place in nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have
that's that, so haunting.
I will get that tattooed on my body at some point, that phrase. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
It's so haunting, but it's also, you get so much footage of like just a bear's face, and like that like from the rest of the footage and like the camera quality, like you're fucking close to this bear. Yeah. Like it's and like you can do camera tricks and stuff now where it's like, okay, sure, maybe they weren't really that close. This guy was so fucking close to this bear, and like especially with the narrative or the narration, where he's like, where Timothy saw a friend and companionship, I see only nature. And you look at this bear, and at least for me, I only see nature.
Yeah,
you know, like the cold indifference of like hunger.
Yeah.
It is. Oh my god!
A half-bored interest in food is actually how.
Yes, a half-bored interest in food. Yes.
Also, I was wrong. I want to correct myself because this is our Pulitzer episode. Is that the fight scene comes right after the audio listening scene, which we could talk about if you want. Oh, yeah. So even worse, because the implication is like very vivid. You've just come off this extremely emotional scene of the two of them talking, and him basically again inserting himself in such a bold way to be like yes, he gives his opinions on Timothy right throughout the movie, but then for him to say you should destroy this like piece of history, right, as a documentarian, that's a crazy thing to say and put on camera in your movie, right? Yeah.
I think I do think that through this movie he's like emulating Timothy in a lot of ways. Like Tim, like
the physical,
put himself into this situation.
The cinematography, right? Specifically, too, he emulates, in a lot of ways. But yes,
yeah. Where he's like partially on screen, where he's like in the foreground, and they're like I don't know. He's doing things where he wants, like he's paying homage to, I'll say, this other director, right? That he's like working with.
Yeah, he compliments his past. Yeah, he compliments his very early, which is cool. Yeah. He's like, and then, which also structurally helps this film, because you enter it and you're like, oh, this guy got himself torn apart by a bear, whatever, dumbass. And then you see this like really crazy cool footage of him with the foxes, and like some of that stuff is so like playful.
It's so
and
sad.
Cute. It's like, it's bad, like you shouldn't be fucking around with wildlife, but it is really striking footage, like he's described, so it really pulls you in. Yeah, this movie's like a fucking masterpiece of like a symphony of like form and flow. The way it just, like I said, I texted you earlier, like, because you were like, should I watch this in the morning or should I watch this late at night? And I was like, watch it in the morning with a cup of tea. It goes down easy. And you were like, pause. But like it does. It's it's like, even though this is extremely upsetting subject matter, and like, there's some stuff in here that is really like gory or like, violent or scary. Like it has like a hypnotic quality to it, the way it flows. Yeah.
This is an emotional roller coaster, but like you're saying, if it wasn't like so much of a symphony, like if these notes weren't struck in like such a particular order and like with such care, again, like I do think Werner Herzog has like a very, very gentle hand here. And if that was like even just a bit off, it would feel so discordant and would really sour the experience.
It would feel like a shit Netflix documentary. You can watch 1,000 Netflix documentaries about like people who died under whatever, like Grizzly, no pun intended, circumstances, or like people who put themselves in harm's way. Like there's a million of those, and they suck, because they are discordant, like you're saying, or they don't flow, they don't have any kind of other thesis going on other than, wow, wasn't that shit crazy? Which again, I think people can take away from this movie if they're fucking stupid. Like if you're a dumbass, like you could think that.
Yeah. Can I just say, some of the more haunting footage of him with the foxes is when he gets mad that the foxes takes his hat.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking explode.
Run into the den. And he actually seems angry when earlier on, and this scene had me pacing around my room in like tense fear. I believe it's right after like they mention, I don't know when he exactly goes swimming? It occurs, but it's really early. Or... It's when it's when the bear almost attacks him.
Oh, sure.
And he has to like drive it back.
Yeah, and he punches it and he goes, "Don't you do that!" And then he says, "I'm sorry, I love you." He crouches down.
Yeah, I love you.
Yeah, crazy. Also, so I don't know. I kind of we talked a little bit about. Man, I'm just looking at my notes. There's so much. We have so much. We haven't even gotten into what this movie's about. But like, there's a lot of curating, right? I kind of wonder, they talk about Timothy doing this like borderline eco-terrorism of like making the salmon run. He diverts the stream at one point. With
man.
Which is horrible, right? When he and we'll talk more about that, but like when he is in these like extremely close interactions with the bears, sometimes I'm like, does he bait them? Did he bait them to try and get them into the shot? And were there more were there more interactions like that one that they kind of like decided not to show? It's like I said, the popular perception of this movie and this guy is like, wow, this guy's a fucking dumbass, whatever. So like, there's an element of like, we don't need to disparage him further. I think we get enough in this movie to kind of see that, but I kind of wonder like how much of it was staged. Not that you can stage a bear, and just be like, release it, but like, did he like set up like salmon? Did he try and like get them to come closer to him? He's really comfortable with the foxes, so it's like, he obviously habituated himself to them somehow. So how was he able to do it with the bears over the course of 13 summers? Like, that is a long ass time, to be able to kind of start planning and doing some of that shit and get good enough at it that you don't die immediately. I don't know. It just, I kind of wonder, like, it's just it'll always be unknown. How much more is there to Treadwell that we don't see that was documented, but they decided not to include for one reason or another.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like he did kind of know what he was doing, but I think the footage near the end where he's like talking about how much he knows what he's doing and how he's like,
he's super cocky. Yeah, at the end.
He's super cocky. He's like kind of manic, and when he goes, "Oh, like you come out here and you'll die," and then it's like,
but not me though.
Underneath it comes up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and then it's like 5 days later, or like behind him is where he dies.
Yes, yeah. It's like that footage was like overlooking the area where he died, and it's like, oh fuck. Yeah. It's like that's crazy. Yeah.
It is. It's very haunting, especially we can talk a little bit about like vlogging. I think there is like a bit of like, we got to talk about like the recording of the self and vlogging and personas. Speaking of voyeurism, but there's something almost like the quality of the footage, how close he is to the camera in a lot of ways. Like it has like a live leak kind of feeling to it that even though you don't see anything violent happen on screen, it feels so scary knowing it's got that like, seconds before disaster feeling to it, that, and like adding those intertitles is just like really devastating. Yeah. Tell me about, go ahead. Sorry, I've been dominating. You go ahead.
No, you go.
Tell me about how you feel about the rest of the cast of this movie. So we've got, Willie Fulton, the copter pilot who, was Tim's friend. We got the asshole who went out there to find him. The two ecologist friends, the actor friend, Jewel, the kind of like ex, whatever. I think those are the parents, obviously, and the coroner. Can't forget him. I don't know. Yeah. Did anything strike you about these people along the way?
We've talked about like extreme director choices, and especially during a documentary, the one asshole is like, it's crazy that he's on screen at all.
He's so like, just like, even if you do think like Treadwell was just a fucking mentally ill whatever, like that guy's such a dick. He's just so unlikable. It's very, I think, like you're probably about to say, Herzog put that guy there up front, I think, for a reason. In the beginning. Yeah.
And I do also like that Herzog put like disparagement. I mean, he did kind of put like disparagement all throughout, but he put like the most vocal disparagers right at the front.
Yeah.
Just to sort of like say like, hey, like just a warning. This guy was not doing something good, right? Like I don't endorse this. Other people don't endorse this. But and I mean it like. Just get out of the way. Timmy Treadwell is like, he's pretty charming, and especially the parts where the persona slips, where the mask slips, where he's talking to himself as a director, like him as an actor is talking to himself as a director. Huh.
When he, I think Herzog comments on it at one point, how he does multiple takes, and Treadwell's like, fucked up my line, fucked up the last one, I'm a fucking asshole. I was like, that sounds just like Ricky. I'm a fucking asshole. I was like,
fucking asshole.
No, you're right. Like, I remember thinking, like, again, watching this movie growing up, being like, wow, this guy's annoying, like, he's always yelling and whatever, and he's like got this weird voice that he does with the bears, and like, actually he's quite funny. Like, he is very funny in those down times when he's not doing, but that's the thing, he's trying to, like, maybe narcissistically trying to make a show, right? Trying to make footage for a show to show kids too. Like, he mentions that at one point. So like, he's going to use a voice and he's going to perform. He's performing. Like, you know, that's obviously not what he was like in real life. So anyway, sorry, I keep cutting you off.
I think real life is maybe a weird terminology to use.
Sure.
Guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he spent months of his life at a time out here, right? Like 3 months since
3 to 4
every year,
every
3
year.
to 4.
Yeah.
So, and then the rest of his time was essentially spent like collating his footage, trying to market that to people, right? So that he could have enough money to go and do it again, right? Yeah. Like that was like, that's his life when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
And so like saying, oh, he wasn't like that in real life. I mean, they interviewed the one guy who said like, oh no, he
He was a weirdo.
Like, he entirely changed who he was. Yeah,
but he wasn't doing the like soft bear kind of like talk. Like he wasn't like that all the time. He wasn't like if you were to just watch the footage, and again, if you were a dumbass, we need like a name for like a dumbass who would watch a movie. We should do this. We should have like a what's a good like stupid movie watcher name, like shorthand. Like
I don't think we'll be able to come up with a quick one.
True. I'm just thinking like what's like watches this movie and see
I don't think we should use someone's name. I don't know.
Fine. What if we never mind.
We're gonna alienate all of our listeners.
Honestly, you know what? Shout out to Toronto Tim, who has to listen to us talk about Timothy throughout this whole
New York Tims.
Yeah. Alaska Tim. If you were to watch this movie and again, just kind of think of him in those scenes of talking to the bear or whatever, he sounds like Michael Jackson from South Park. Like blanket. Like he has that voice. That might even be part of where they got that voice from. So again, I think showing those little more charming, letting the mask kind of fall scenes like Herzog does is really, is helpful in kind of countering
that. Yeah, he's like a real person.
Yeah. I want to talk about, because I think the recording yourself and vlogging as like a means of like recapturing your persona, I think that's staged in the way that the actor interviews or the other interviews, like mostly among Tim's friends, not so much like the ecologists or the like the bear scientist, I can't, bear researcher, or like the Alutiiq Museum guy, like but like the coroner, for example, like the artificiality of those is really deliberate, and I think that there's a real strong kind of like current of that on purpose throughout the whole thing, of like this rejection of like naturalism in the interviews that feels really on point and like satisfying almost. Tell me more.
The interview with the coroner is insane.
Yes, it's crazy. Shots, it's the thing that people think about.
The way that they zoom in on around that guy's face, the way they back up, they like give it time sometimes too, where he's just like there on screen.
Yeah,
at 15, the end, 20 seconds, not saying anything.
Yeah, at the end of the interview, when he's describing this horrible thing, he like stops talking and then just like kind of stands there and like puts his arms to his side. No, granted, I don't think that this guy's like a ghoul. Like, I think he's just really not camera ready. Like, I think that like, versus
he also
like
had a camera like right really in close. His face, like right before that. Yeah, like right up next to him, and then it backs like all the way up.
Yeah. And like, shows like the fucking morgue. Yeah, which is really like dark and scary. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's the differentiating of like Tim's bear world and like the human world, right? Like
in a way, and like
yeah. I mean, Tim hated this world, like
see, interesting, because like I think the coroner, not an actor, maybe the first time he's ever been recorded on video, right?
What direction do you think he got there too? Is the thing, and like if it's none, then is that not just very like it's very like Tim, like recording like, bears, right? But it's like the nature of I don't know.
I don't see. Sorry. I'm thinking more like picture a Netflix documentary. Again, just like common denominator. Like, when you're talking to, like, when a person is delivering their interview, they're usually looking off camera, right? It's not very common that, like, there are directors who do it, but it's not super common to look down the barrel of the camera and talk while you're in an interview. That's just not how because it feels unnatural. It feels artificial. It's why it works so well in Silence of the Lambs, for example. So, like, Herzog probably told these people to do that, even if you're not like, usually it's like, don't look at the camera if you're an extra on the street, or like if you're on the news, right? You're not usually looking at the camera. Like usually you're talking to the reporter off screen. So like he told them to do that. So like for the coroner who's never been in front of a TV, it feels really, really heightened, it's unnatural. But then when you think of like Warren Queenie, the first actor that they really talk about, who says like, when I heard the news about Tim, I heard my wife scream and blah, like he sounds so rehearsed, and he sounds like he's giving a monologue on stage because he's a fucking actor, so it's like they both feel like unnatural and unnerving in their own way. Like, Warren's is like not like upsetting the way the coroner is, because he's not talking about, dismemberment and stuff, and he has like a more comforting presence, but like it still feels like he's putting on a show, like he's reading lines. And he might be, he might have written that. Like, we don't, these guys are obviously all pretty eccentric, like all of Tim's friends and stuff. Jewel, too, to a lesser extent, she's like talking about how they met, and like that whole story about them meeting in like the Ren Fair, whatever, like medieval times. Like, that's fun, but like also seems kind of artificial. It's intentional.
Her introduction, her emotions in the wristwatch scene feel so weird and like artificial.
That scene is strange. It feels like it's staged. And, like they like he told them what to do.
Yes.
Yes.
And seeing her in other parts of the film, she feels much more like I feel much more compassion towards her, and I feel like much more so much so that I felt guilty about even feeling like the first scene was odd. Like I was like, and it's I don't know. I do think I do think there's something there, but I don't know how intentional that is.
I think so.
But it was definitely...
It's undeniable that is intentional, in my view. So much of this movie is about, Herzog goes out of his way, like we said, to talk about how Timmy, staged shots and, did multiple takes and, did this kind of, he wants to cut things into a show. He's really drawing attention to the artificiality, and I think he's commenting on it by having these, very artificial, heightened kind of interviews, especially the coroner, especially Jewel, especially the actor friend, especially contrasted with the helicopter pilot. In the beginning, Willie Fulton feels much more traditional. You don't feel like this guy, he seems like a nice, compassionate, level-headed, normal guy, so I 100% think it's intentional.
Those shots linger too. I know I keep saying this, but the human world shots, right? Mm-hmm. When with Jewel, with the lawyer,
or the coroner. Those shots. It's in the beginning.
Jewel with when they're signing stuff.
The wristwatch. That's the coroner. The coroner is giving her the wristwatch out of the evidence bag. Which okay. Did they really do that on camera? Did they really maybe or was it staged? It's the coroner.
I thought there was.
It's 100% him because he signed. What does she sign?
Okay, a piece of paper or something.
All of his evidence stuff that was on
okay. Got time to read her. Okay, that's what that. I thought it was the footage or something, or the whatever his
estate. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I thought that's what it was, but it lingers there for a bit afterwards, and then it in the same way that it lingers with the coroner, but also in the same way that we see some of Herzog when he originally comments on some of Tim's really bright shots in the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's a shot where Tim has left the frame and he's about to enter, and we just have Werner Herzog empty talking nature. About how empty nature and how they seem to take on a life. These shots take on a life of their own, and all the plants sort of moving together, and they have cool. This life of their own.
Yeah,
and they linger for a little bit because a lot of Tim's shots do kind of linger. And, when he's done saying his line, he'll, wait for a few seconds so that he has time afterwards that he knows he can cut, right? Yeah. And it feels like Werner Herzog is also, he leaves those in of what he's showing us of Tim's footage, but he also does that of his own footage. But, selectively, right? He's not doing that all of the time. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting. It's a choice.
It is. The actor friend says Timmy doesn't feel dead at one point.
Yeah.
And to me, that is such a he doesn't feel dead because he's constantly recording himself. You have all this footage, and this artificiality almost of of him representing himself in this I'm gonna be in a show and I'm a martyr and I'm the guardian, and he Herzog at one point even says he stylizes himself that way. He's created this larger than life.
He needs to be the lone guardian.
Yeah. It's great, and I think I've made snarky comments about this before, but it doesn't feel so crazy in the age of vlogging and streaming. Anything that he does other than interacting with bears, but any of the things that he rants about, you hear worse online all the time.
Yeah.
So this like early almost pioneer of like vlogging in a way, and how he's like doing it in a rejection of society is so, despite the artificiality, which I think is the core point of this film, is like how nature and society are a false dichotomy, like that they're not really all that different, I think is Herzog's like idea. So I just think it's a great movie. I guess.
I'd have to agree. Yeah.
But another kind of example of like the structural flow of this, they start with the Alutik Museum talking to the museum like docent, who Herzog describes it as raided by tourists, and they talk about like the bear's paw being cut off from the statue, or like the stuffed bear that was on loan. And then this guy talks about like, the native history with bears, and like, how Treadwell was like,
you don't cross that line.
Yeah, and how he avoided like crossed a boundary that he shouldn't have. And then Herzog shows this footage of Tim getting in the water, right? He's shirtless. He's like, it kind of harkens back to this like, oh, he just thinks they're people dressed up as teddy bears. He goes out there, he starts swimming with it. The bear starts to leave. Everything seems fine. You're like, okay, whatever. And then he reaches out to pet the bear, literally breaking a boundary. And the bear like kind of like starts at him,
whips its head back down.
Yeah. And Treadwell backs off, and it like there's like this tiny little sound cue. We have to talk about the score in this movie, but like the little sound, kind of like or score, music cue in that moment is so chilling. And again, it just keeps reinforcing that like, Tim had this like great footage and he had this great mission, but he's like, it was all fake. All of it was fake. He had to, selectively edit so much of that to kind of reinforce it. Even though he did have a relationship with these animals, it wasn't what he wanted or portrayed. And
he had to have, I think it also underlines how much like he knows, like,
yeah. Oh, sure, he knows.
There is a part of him, like, as much as like he wants to convince himself that, like, even if you want to say that he has totally convinced himself, right? Like when he's there and the speed, like he's like kind of hesitant, but he's like still like like firmly like, oh, I'm going to pet this bear. Mm-hmm. The speed that he whips his hand back as that bear turns around, like he knows, Yeah. And I think a part of that is, like, yes, like, you need to have a certain amount of respect for them, but also, like, at that point, you need to, like, not be, like, hanging out with them, right? Like,
Right. Well, yes. Let's talk a little bit about Treadwell's kind of self-conception as, like, he stylizes himself as a guardian. He's not just doing that, though. He's also talking, like, there's an element of, like, I'm dominating nature. Like, it's not just, like, I'm in peace.
Yeah.
Like, it still has this, like, chauvinistic kind of approach.
Which is weird, but because like he is very, I don't know, I want to say like Peter Pan-esque. Like he talks
about being passive
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he mentions like when he's doing his little screed about women, he mentions like how passive he is, and like that he's like, just wants to be friends and like whatever, and like
what did he say? He called himself like a patsy, and he's like, I guess women don't like a patsy.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, man, but he. I forget what I was gonna say.
When he acts very Peter Pan like, and I mentioned,
oh yes, he's like a kid, like in a lot of ways, because like especially when he's like sort of like belly aching about like the real world or like the human world, he's like oh, like gotta go out there and I gotta like get this money, yada yada. But I don't know, it's and then you see how he talks with like when the invaders are coming and they like leave notes for him and stuff,
which is the paranoia is off the charts. Like, it's crazy that and of course he talks all this big game, but he never actually does. Like, if there was ever a time to do something, it would probably be then, right? If you really think that like that these guys throwing
like
rocks
they're throwing
at a bear.
rocks at the bear,
yeah.
But I mean, also I think in a lot of ways it's underlining the point that the museum guy was saying, like, by breaking that boundary, like, you're doing a lot more harm than good,
right? Right.
100%. And I mean, I think a part of the tragedy of it is, like, many times, or at least a few times during the film, they talk about how Tim mentions that, like, maybe he would do more in his death than he could in life in trying to bring awareness to the bears. And I mean, I hate to say it, but, like, I'm not gonna say. But like this
I don't
movie
think
is
he did.
very impactful.
I don't
You
think so.
Think he did?
No, because like, and again, I have empathy for this guy. I think there was a lot going on. Whatever. He wasn't actually protecting anything. They say it many, many times, and it's clear, like that. Despite his, portrayal of himself as like living in the harshest circumstances ever of anyone in the world. He says that at one point. It's clear that these bears are not actually in danger or endangered. Yeah. Like, they've reinforced this many times that, like, he wasn't actually doing shit. There was no poaching that was happening. Like, that wasn't really a thing. So he's just kind of glamping,
Yeah.
So, like, him dying did not advance any cause because he... there wasn't really, the cause wasn't there. He wasn't like, it's not like he was protecting like a species that was like under active threat at that time in that place, so like now he's just a joke for a lot of people. Like, he's a punchline, and I like, that's not advancing any cause. Again, Lane does not endorse that view. I'm just saying that's like, that's what people think of, that he's foolhardy or whatever. So I think do you think he just had a death wish?
I think near the end, yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, he was suicidal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he also sort of regretted having, his
Amy.
girlfriend or Amy? Yeah. I think he regretted having her there, and especially near the end. And, like, they talk about how, like, he was telling her to get away. But, like, between the coroner's report and, like, them talking about the audio recording, it sounds like she stayed there with him for at least 5 minutes. Trying to fight a bear
off. Yeah.
Trying to fight the bear off, like hitting it with a frying pan.
Yeah.
While he's like telling her to like leave, get out of there, and it's
sad.
It's sad. I don't know.
It's okay. You can cry. It's our Pulitzer episode.
That's not what I cried at.
No, I'm kidding.
Do you know the points in the movie I cried? When he was talking about
I wasn't in the living room with you, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're right. There was like. I mean, it's both just moments like where like he's sort of like talking with the camera, right?
Sure.
Or like they're like doing interviews like immediately afterwards, but it's
and
like him interacting with like the foxes where he's like talking about like how much of a fuck up he is and like and it's like, oh dude,
he's probably bipolar, right? I mean, they mentioned that at one point he starts taking, like, Jewel mentions that he took antidepressants and he didn't like that he didn't have the highs to go with the lows. I was like, man, I've heard that before. Like, that's such a classic bipolar thing to say. I'm not making fun, but just like, so the idea that it wasn't, at least in part, like, the mania is just as much as the suicidality. And like, unfortunately, these specific circumstances of like being in the fucking Alaskan wilderness with wild bears fits both criteria. It allows you to have the kind of like God complex delusion of like the ranting of I'm on top, I beat you, I beat your asses, freaking out at, the Park Service. And then also the like, I'm isolating myself, I'm going, I'm suicidal, I whatever, I'm engaging in self-harm. I don't think you'd be remiss to call this like an active self-harm to camp out there. So it's crazy and very sad.
When he's laughing about like the tent like collapsing on him,
and
he's like, I love it, it's horrible, I love it. But yeah, it is like, I think there's like definitely a line between like self-harm and suicidality, right? Where like part of this is like, oh, he's punishing himself, maybe he doesn't feel like he deserves to be in human society, whatever.
He thinks
like,
too that this is like a way to kind of satisfy his addiction. He mentions like or like they mentioned that he had an OD, at some point.
Well, he talks about going out there, and I think this was a part of the part where I was crying, where he talks about like how the bears like gave his life meaning. Oh yeah, and he was like, I didn't have a life before you guys, and like
drank.
It's so sad. It's so sad, man.
Yeah.
Because like you hear him, and it's obviously someone who's like, and I think this is also particularly poignant, like in today's day and age, right? Where like this is someone who had like nothing going for him. He didn't, and like he had friends. Obviously, he had people there for him. He like could connect to people to at least a certain degree.
Yeah.
Whether or not he could, I don't think he was maybe consistent enough to like develop like
super strong.
I mean, obviously he had like Yeah, but I mean, obviously he did have very strong relationships with people who, like,
but
understood.
Not like a support network, in the way that you might be,
right.
Yeah, like a...
Right.
Yeah.
Because he was just too inconsistent, I think, is the thing. But, like, the Bears don't care as long as you're there, 3 or 4 months out of the year, right? Like...
Yeah.
And like, seeking that sort of time, like, I don't know, it gives, like, meaning and structure to what you're doing. And then, like, I mean, you talk about the mania. The movie underlines his mania when he's begging for rain from God.
Yeah,
and then
I was just thinking
about that. He gets it, and he's like, and he's freaking out about how... It's just so, like...
Which...
I don't know.
Really funny. I will, like, that scene, like, obviously, like,
So, when I said earlier that, like...
Yeah.
When I said earlier that parts of this movie are biddable, and you're like, oh, I think we're gonna fight about this. There are parts of this movie which are genuinely really funny, and, like, a lot of it is, like, part of it is this guy, like trying to be funny, part of it is him just, like...
Boy. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, like, what?
That's funny. Yeah. He'd be a great poster. Like, he would be a phenomenal... Like,
yeah, he would. Yeah.
He would love Twitter.
When he's like ranting and raving about the like the society, the nature society or whatever, like the government
department,
Parks and Rec society. When he's ranting and raving about, and like he's muted in the background, and like Werner Herzog is like giving the narration, and you could very clearly see him enunciating like "fuck these motherfuckers," like shit like that. It's so like that's funny. It's really funny, but it's like really funny. I mean, it is sad.
That part's
like you're
sad
watching.
To me. Yeah, just because like
it's sad. Yeah.
It's
obviously that he's like kind of
it's not prompted by like an act of God or lack of an act of God in the rain. It's just that he like just got in his head about it in that moment. He's like he's filming this like address to the camera about him leaving, and he just like works himself up, and that like is really that's more disturbing to me because it's just him. The inputs are not anything but him and like society that he's like rejecting, but it's that part is sad to me, but I get what you mean. It is like he just sad. Goes on.
Well, no, I mean
he really does.
Yeah. I mean I don't know, like yes, part of it made me very sad, but like also it is just like it is the directorial choice, the directorial choice to like have him muted there, and like Werner Herzog even goes like, and like I will not disparage them in this manner, but like we can see the guy's lips moving in the background, bro. Like I think funny, man.
I think because he specifically in that scene is naming people, so I think the idea is that he's like, I'm not going to disparage these people by name. He during that scene, Herzog says, I've seen this madness on a film set before.
Yeah,
we haven't talked about Fitzcarraldo yet. An hour and a half of the fucking episode, the Pulitzer episode. But do you remember what Klaus Kinski looks like? The lead in Fitzcarraldo. Do you remember what he looks like?
Vaguely.
Yeah, maybe pull up his picture from when he was young, or the cover of maybe like not Fitzcarraldo, maybe, but Aguirre, The Wrath of God, the other one of the other big like Herzog Kinski collabs.
Okay.
He looks like Timothy Treadwell. He looks a lot like him.
I kind of see it in Aguirre, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the hair, like that long blonde hair, He's
as it flows out,
Yeah. So I think like there's a whole fucking wealth, like a whole mind vein of like, why did Herzog pick this as a thing to get into? Like this subject, why did he, want to talk about Treadwell? And like, I think that's a huge part of it is that he's fascinated of his filmmaking, but he's also fascinated of the, like, this kind of like, almost like he's trying to make sense of this friendship that he had, or like, artistic partnership with Kinski, which was very fraught. I think that, but like, not just, but like you could even draw, to Fitzcarraldo as like a text itself, that is all about a man trying to conquer nature and mostly failing, same with like Grizzly Man. Like I think you could make the same argument. You could draw the parallel with Treadwell, Stroking your chin.
It is interesting. It's interesting and it adds another layer.
There's so many layers, dude. It's crazy. I still have like 10 whole bullet points too. So just so you know, you better take a deep breath.
No, that's good.
Good.
I'm wondering, because we spoke before about Klaus Kinski and like Werner Herzog almost coming to blows.
Literally, they came to blows during shit. Well, on other movies, yeah, they have a. I mean, Herzog has a movie called My Best Fiend, and it's a documentary about how they fucking hated each other and how Kinski was a maniac.
Dude, I'm bringing it back to it. I think just in the act of him directing and then editing these films later, and the amount of time that he's spent with Klaus Kinski, and especially Klaus Kinski on film, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, that's such a distinct relationship to have. And, I mean, now also to have that relationship with someone who's, like, passed, right?
That you didn't actually know in person. Yeah.
That you didn't actually know in person. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just, like, to be able to draw parallels between, like, your experiences as, like, director-actor and pulling them in and, like, seeing them between one man, director-actor, or, I mean, one man versus society, if you want to see that. Yeah. But really, it is just him, like, riling himself up. And it's, I don't know, that's weird, interesting. I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling about that.
I'm telling you, I wasn't kidding when I was like, this is one of the most, like, intellectually fascinating movies that I have ever seen. I'm not kidding, you know, just to take it back to whatever, 30,000 feet again. This really is like a movie that I can watch, and every single time I think a new thought, which sounds really glib, but like, I'm not being facetious or like silly. Like, I really like a new interesting aspect of this movie. You know, he mentions, anyway, I think there's you could draw new parallels or draw new insights from this movie every single time you watch it. Yeah,
I believe it. I mean, even just watching through the first time, like, and there were so many scenes that, like, I know I'm saying biddable, but they're like sound bites, right? Where like,
there's a lot of memorable stuff.
Like the way that people say things are like, funny, and like a lot of like, I mean, we talked a lot about like the way they the scenes are interspersed with one another, and the particular emotions that those evoke. Yeah. And it's, I don't know. It's impactful. It's really impactful.
Let's move into a lower gear for a little bit. I'm using too many metaphors. I'm sorry. I haven't had a job to use a bunch of mixed metaphors so I'm like, let's
return to back. Earth. Let's drop to a lower gear. Yeah, let's circle back. Let's put an X on this map.
Bears. How do you feel about bears as an animal? That was one of my bullet points. I was like, let's go surface level for a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, they're cool. I have a stuffed bear that I've had since I was 2.
That's cute.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, Barry.
Wait, how'd you get to that name? How'd you arrive there? Like,
well, 3-year-old me, you know, when I was first learning words for things, you know, he was pretty creative.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, also funny that Tim Treadwell had a bear plushie, back and forth. And was in some footage in Alaska. Which is funny that we get to see that. Yeah.
They are crazy animals. Like, I think part of what makes them so scary is that they don't look like any other animal. That sounds like stupid, but like, they don't look like a dog. They don't look like a cat. They don't look like a bird. They're like a secret new thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're just they're like a weird, like, it's frightening, you know, to kind of consider.
It's because for me at least, it's because they're like quadrupeds that like get up on their hind legs.
Yeah, they can.
Like, most other animals don't really... Like, cats sometimes do, but it feels unnatural and weird to see a cat up on its hind legs. You're like, whoa, buddy, what's going on over there? Get down. Like, when bears do it, you're like, oh, fuck, this dude could be running at me. Yeah, I'm so fucked. It's crazy. And, like, you hear about, like, historical context, like, when people talk about, like, oh, like, he was, like, big as a bear, like, barrel-chested, and he would, like, wrestle with bears as a child, you know, like that sort of thing. And it's like, oh, okay, like, that's kind of funny, but then, like, you see a fucking bear, and you're like, fuck no, buddy, like, god damn, that is, like... And
even then, they're smaller, but they're not, you know, nothing to see.
Maybe like a baby black bear versus like a full-grown adult human who's been training for this for a few months, right? Like, sure, like, I mean, training their whole life, but specifically for the bear for like a few months. It's like, okay, maybe, sure, I could like, if he's not swiping at your head, maybe you get away with playing around with it a little bit. But like, buddy, the bear fight it's a kaiju fight. Like,
it's crazy. Like, they're shitting and pissing
when they're hitting each other. They are. But like, when they hit, it's like seeing like the reverberations travel,
like
along
their muscles,
body.
and like fat, like,
and even
moving. Mm-hmm.
Like seeing their bodies ripple underneath like this, like solid thick fur. It's scary. And then like you're seeing them like tear into each other, and they're still going at it, and they're like barely touching each other. It's like, oh, like this ain't shit to them. That's fucked up. Like that is way beyond the amount of force that I could generate against this guy in any way.
Yeah,
and they're just tanking it, like, one after the other.
You know,
what the fuck? What the fuck?
It is crazy. It is crazy. I can I can definitely see how like just being out there to see that, and he's not very far. Yeah. You know, he's it's not like he's like a half mile away. He is not far. So like
and you can hear some of the audio, like, he's
of them,
dead silent, and you're hearing the bears, like, and they're like, and then they're getting tired, and they're just sort of, like, huffing, hanging out right by each other, huffing, like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my, crazy. And then when he goes in, and he's, like, inspecting it afterwards, he's like, oh, like, it got, like, the soil got tilled. Can we just say, also, surprised this guy didn't get infections from anything. Like, he's touching dead animals, he's touching, like, shit, and everything that we know of, right?
Yeah, when he
impressive.
When he puts his hand up and he's like, "Oh, it's warm," I was like, "Do I remember that he touches the poop and not just like puts his hands over it like a fire?" No, he touches the poop. He's like in there. Yeah, I'm like, I get it. You're
he's
out
like,
there.
I can feel the warmth. I feel the poop, and I'm like,
it was in her.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. This guy's got like a weird connection with him. I was like, okay, man.
Yeah,
and that's, I think that's sort of like letting the mask slip. Like obviously, like we talk about how curated the shots are, but it's like letting us like glimpse more and more of like, oh, this guy really was quite unwell. Like there's something going on there, you know?
Totally. Yeah. It's fascinating. It's just funny to think, you know what, I might get sucked in if I saw a bear fight like that at, 300 feet away. Like I could understand it, you know. Maybe not, I would not put myself in that situation, but seeing it, I get it. I get being sucked in.
Have you ever seen a bear in real life?
No.
Outside of like a zoo, I guess. Or have you seen them in the zoo?
Mm-mm.
No.
In a zoo, yes, but never in like in the wild. Knock on wood, you know. Yeah.
I saw one on a hike.
That's crazy.
But it was like, here's like the mountain we were hiking on. The mountain that the bear was on was like on the other side, right? So like it goes down into a valley, and there was like a stream that goes through there, and it led to a lake on the other side of the mountain that we were hiking up. But no, it was like, I mean, I didn't know what type of bear, but couldn't really tell you how large it was because it was very far away. Up in Seattle.
Yeah. Then it could have been.
Yeah. It was like very close to the Canadian border. So I don't know. I mean, I assume it was a black bear.
But still,
because it wasn't like huge. It was like between 6 and 10 feet, I guess I'll say.
Is that all?
It was
not huge. It's so crazy to be like, oh, it's a small bear. It's 6 to 10 feet.
I mean, also it was like quite a distance from us, so
no, I get it. Yeah,
difficult to judge. You know, it was kind of like pawing around, and then like it like jogged for a little bit. But we were like kind of freaked out. We were like watching it, and then it like went behind like a little crevice or whatever. And we were like, okay, let's
time
keep
to go.
going. But yeah, they're cool animals. But they're very much so not like approachable. Like seeing them in nature, it is like you get immediate like oh fuck signs. Like your body goes like, hey, like watch out, because there's like, I don't know, like dog-like animals like coyotes and stuff like that. You know, you still kind of get like it's
a dog.
Yeah. Like you're talking about like, oh, like this is just like an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
It really is like.
Yeah.
So like, okay, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah,
like,
I'm not trying to see one in person. They're cute, you know, but I'll look at footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how true that, like, kind of, it might be apocryphal, the idea that, like, bear isn't the word for bear, but, like, the original word for bear has been lost. Have you heard this? That, like...
No, what?
That, like...
Of course bear isn't the original word for bear. It's an English word.
Well, right.
What do you mean?
Obviously, bears are Spanish, so is it. No. But that, like, that, like, in the same way, you know, or like, that the word bear means, like, that thing that we don't name, versus, like, what people actually call, because the idea was that if you said its name that you would invoke it.
Yeah, Voldemort type situation.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid saying that, but that was where my mind went too. But like, yes.
Okay, but Lane, why would you avoid saying it? Just invoke it.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. It's
fear of the name increases fear of the thing itself.
Yeah, that's so true.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Here I differ with Ricky because I think that joke was not funny. No, I don't know how true that is, but like, that sounds like some internet shit that, pseudo history made up.
Yeah, that I would like regurgitate. Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, I believe it because it sounds like it could be true. It's what, So, let's talk about what I think this movie is about. Which sounds funny to say 2 hours into this movie or 2 hours into the podcast. Let's record longer than the length of the movie. That's cool. We don't do that often.
We did 2 movies, so
that's true. Okay, so we got to go for another hour.
Actually, we're already past Grizzly Man, by the way.
Oh, are we? Fuck yeah, cool. Okay, let's keep going.
We're at an hour 45. It's
sweet.
Hour 44.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
So at one point when he is ranting, he mentions, I know it's a patriotic time right now, but fuck the government, basically. And he's talking about 9/11. Like, they mention, they like do either a subtitle where they're talking about like that the movie, or that this footage came out like the year from 2001. He mentions it's autumn of 2001. The expedition's coming to an end, I think.
There was a point in the film where I realized that he was alive during 2001. And he was on an expedition September 11th, 2001, and not, like, and that somebody had to tell him.
Tell him, like, by the way, 9/11 happened? Yeah. Kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Which,
I just say that was, like, very fun. I mean, obviously, both Timothy Treadwell's death is a tragedy. 9/11 is a tragedy. So fucking funny that he had to be told it like months later. Like, this was the national news. Like, they were like, "What were you living under a rock?" And he's like, "No, I was living with bears in Alaska." Like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Was it Big Brother that did that, or Survivor, where they didn't tell them at first because they live in? I think it's Big Brother. I don't know. I don't watch reality TV really, but like, where they only told them because somebody had,
that's
like
good
relatives
television.
Or something.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't know. Yeah,
it's good television.
But anyway,
that's really good television.
I don't think they did it on camera. I don't know. But yes, they like the thought that he might have heard about it though, because like he goes to these great lengths to portray himself as being completely alone, but he wasn't completely alone. Obviously, he was with Amy Huguenard for a bit, and it seems like he had contact.
They said that he had multiple girlfriends up there, like
over the years. But like, so it does also make you think,
like multiple. Like during a stint, like they would come off there for like a week or whatever. It's like, okay.
Did they say that?
No, they mentioned like, they said like multiple during like a single like season. It's like, oh, okay, bro. Like,
I don't think they said multiple during a single season. I think it's just that they meant he had other. I don't think they specified
over the 13 years he was up there. Okay, yeah.
But so he could have also been talking with, for example, like Willie, the helicopter pilot or the chopper pilot who came in, or not. He's the plane guy. So, like, he could have heard from him, but regardless,
either way, like, hearing it is just a very funny
It's funny. It is funny. But yeah, so he mentions, like, it's a patriotic time right now, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, still, fuck the government, fuck you, fuck Park Service, whatever. And, like, the ranting, the completely aloneness, the paranoia, the I'm built different, the conquering nature, but that nature is still, like, different than society, rejection of society. All of these things are like the culmination of like manifest destiny, and like how 9/11, like the paranoia at the turn of the century, and like the narcissism of things like the internet and vlogging and like self-documentation. I really think that this is like the defining movie of the 21st century. I think this movie was so prescient in the way that it predicted, like, by showing and kind of creating this like thesis of Treadwell as like Herzog mentions like a Walden type, like completely like fleeing society and going into the wild, like the unwillingness to grapple with 9/11 Like, just mentioning that even, and like the complete just like, nope, fuck you, fuck the government, like, and retreating into nature when really you cannot draw a dichotomy between, like, that is a false dichotomy. I think that is just so profound. Like, I don't know. I really think that this movie's like psychic. Like, it's crazy.
He underlines the irony of that false dichotomy a few times as well. We talked about how Tim sort of like Lane just put their face entirely into the camera to say yes there. But we talked about how he like interfered with nature and like did his whole praying to God thing, yada yada. Yeah. And like we talked about staging shots, possibly, right? It's like, okay, I mean, like, and I mean, I definitely a thought that I had while watching this as well. But it's fuck, I forget where I was going with that, man. I'm trolling.
Well, no, but like nature isn't good enough either.
Oh.
Right? Like, that's what it is. It's not good enough for him. Like, he wants something else, because it's not really nature that he's coveting. Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
He's constantly applying, like, human ideas and
rules,
like, morality and rules onto it. And so he's like, they're eating their kids out here! Yeah, of course they are. They're hungry. Like, they don't give a fuck. They didn't care. Yeah. And when he's, like, petting the bear cub's paw, it's like, after it died, or he's like, cooing over the skull that was like stripped bare. It's like, okay, like yes, these are sad, you know.
Yeah, and he doesn't crash out about those things, so it is kind of like, he's not like complete. Like, if he was really just like an insane tree hugger who like thought he was children of the universe, to quote the one helicopter pilot, like, then he would be like fully sobbing, losing his mind over this. And he's not, the fact that he shows the skull is like a level of remove and like almost educational. Yeah. He's still kind of like shocked and stuff and emotional by it, but not, he's not overwhelmed, right?
Well, he's still doing his like, his tone, it's in like a very affected manner. Like he's putting on, and sort of the same way when they're like throwing the rocks at the, like when the intruders, quote unquote, are throwing the rocks at the bear. It's like, all right, they throw like 2 or 3 rocks in order to make sure the bear sort of maintains its distance.
Right.
Those, and like, again, like, after watching the footage of the bears fighting, I didn't give a fuck about those rocks.
Yeah,
I was
the
like, those rocks
aren't
going to do shit to this bear.
It's going to bounce off its fur. It's going to get stuck in the fur. Like, it's fine. Yeah.
It's a pebble, right? Like, it's enough to tell the bear, hey, like, hey, buddy, we're not really, like, trying to fuck with you, so, like, keep away.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so much healthier of a relationship with nature than what he's pursuing, because he's pursuing like the like inversion of like what like in nature, right? Yeah. If you're a human and you're hanging out too close to bears, you die, right?
Yeah,
and he did die.
Yeah.
But he saw himself like you said earlier, like he's conquering it, right?
Right.
And like he's hanging out in nature, and he's like, oh, like I can hang out here, and I don't die around bears.
Right.
It's like, well,
that's so maybe 3 or 4 times ago when I watched this movie that like this was one of those kind of like discoveries that I found unearthed, truly. I'm in there with the little dust brush like a paleontologist or
you got the real tiny dustpan and you're just brushing into it.
That's me. So Warren Queenie, the actor, when he's talking about Tim and how he had this fabricated Australian background, this fabricated accent, and like whatever origin story, he says, well, if it doesn't scare the cows, who cares? I don't think Tim ever scared the cows, so who cares? And then, 20 minutes later, Herzog is talking about, all I see when I look in the eyes of a bear is the overwhelming indifference of nature. It's like, those 2 quotes are like the like thesis and rejection or like or response of like, obviously Tim did scare the fucking cows because he died. He got eaten, and so this idea of like, oh, he's fine, like whatever, you could just like, nature is just this thing that you can go and coexist with and whatever, but really it's something that is full of, to use Herzog's words, chaos, hostility, and murder. That there isn't actually that much difference between, there is chaos, hostility, and murder in society. That is society is a not a perfectly well-oiled, rules-based machine like you were talking about. So like, I just like the comparison of those 2, like specifically like indifference versus scaring, or like the emotion of those 2 and attributing emotion to animals it reveals the whole thing. It, like I said, it cracked my third eye wide open. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, just like the attributing emotion to animals in that way. Even though we're talking about cows in that sentence, it felt so perfectly, aligned with that final monologue. Yeah. It's So again, I think that this movie can be viewed as a character study, right? Of Timothy. It can be viewed as like a movie about filmmaking. It can be viewed as a, what does it mean to reject society? It can be viewed as the 21st century was fucked from the beginning. Like, all of those different like lenses to view it from. I mean, just really, or it could just be viewed as a nature documentary. Like there's enough of the nature scenes, both that Treadwell shot and Herzog, like when he's doing the ice rifts and shit. What? I don't think I've ever seen a landscape that looks like that before. That's crazy. And like he mimics Tim's style. It's really like it's intentional, right? It's very he finds empathy for him. He has this like respect for him as a filmmaker. It's cool. It's fucking cool. Goes down easy.
He mimics his styles a lot of ways.
Yeah. Do
you think Timothy Treadwell was queer?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Okay. What makes you say that?
Some of his like anti-women rants.
Oh,
and the way that
we should get into this. Yeah, we kind of glazed over it earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, because we did mention it a little bit, but I do kind of want to put a little bit of the spotlight on. He's also like very like, oh man, men would be so much easier to get along with.
Yeah, you could just go to a gas station. Yeah, right. Like, yeah. But I don't see that as I don't see it as like a secretly I get along with men better because I'm more attracted to them or I'm more. But like, I feel like it's more that like he feels spurned by the idea of like women are complex creatures and the mind of a woman is unknowable. Like that sort of thing feels like what he's responding to. But I mean, I think you could read it that way a little bit, but I don't find that, I don't know. Yeah.
I think a lot of guys say similar things though, right? Where they're like,
sure.
And I've heard it be used in like an attacking manner as like, oh, well, like, if you like guys so much, like, why don't you just like marry one? It's like, sure. Well, obviously that's not like what they're really talking about. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Here's the thing. If I'm a guy who's like, I am going to live this like transient lifestyle and I'm going to be out with the bears and I'm going to, like not shower for 3 months and live out on the land and like have confrontations with the park service and whatever and like live as a fugitive. Am I not also just going to be gay if I'm gay? I don't know. Of course it's complex. Yeah. But like, he doesn't strike me as a guy who would be like, but I'm scared of that. You know what I mean? Like, right.
Yeah, so. No, I don't think he was. I was just kind of wondering, like, where you felt with it. Like, where you felt with it. He's also, it's like...
He's weirdly chauvinistic at times. Like, he is, like, the way he talks about women is, like, kind of, like, not great. So...
Yeah, it's, like, tough. Like, especially because it'd be like, and I don't know why like girls don't want to stay with me, and it's like,
I don't know.
I'm kind of picking up I'm picking up a clue or two here along the way.
Yeah. And he mentions that like, he's good in bed too. Like he's like, but guys aren't supposed to say that.
Guys aren't really supposed to say that.
Yeah, it's like
okay, well, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking about like that era of vlogging, right? And it's like. The whole voyeuristic aspect of like you're putting like your whole life on display, and like he really is like he's talking about things that he's grappling with, not only like his addictions, but like this idea of like, oh well, I mean, like part of it's like kind of bar talk, right? Where it's like like
women,
the ball and chain, women, right? Yeah, I wish I could just go home, drink some beers, watch kung fu with the boys. That'd be great, but just don't like the dick and balls, right? Yeah. And it's like, okay, of it all. And it's like, all right, well, sure, fine.
The
but...
dick and balls of it all. I was talking to Christopher about this earlier, though. This is going to sound whatever, silly. But we were talking about, like, the cast of this movie, like, all of the different kind of like, eccentric characters. And, like...
When you mentioned it earlier, when you, like, defined them as a cast, it felt very odd to, like, call them that. But go on,
But they are, right? Like
they are,
literally, they're not literally all actors, but they're, But we were talking about, like, using these characters as, like, NPC fodder. And and I was like, well, yeah, I can totally see that. And he said, but I'm don't want to necessarily do a Treadwell voice because it's so, it could border on like a homophobic stereotype. And I was like, but it's different. I think if you listen to this man talk and you're like, that's a gay guy, it's like, you don't know any gay men. Like, obviously there's like a gay cadence, right? Like, or a gay accent, but like, he does not have it. He just is soft-spoken a lot of the time.
Yeah, I will say a couple of times I did sort of like question it just based off, but I was like, all right, like, I don't know, the way he talks, I was like, I don't think so.
I think it's a fine line, but I think like the way, it's more like he's talking to children than it is, like he's not,
I also, I think he's already been riffed on. I think people riff on, so
Mr. Chocolate. That's like the thing that's like the number one thing about this.
I was thinking there was, I think it was like Smosh or something. They're like some, I don't know, some online community or whatever. The Chosen, this dude like did this bit about this guy, The Chosen, and like wears like backwards hat or bandana or whatever, like sunglasses. But the way he talks is similar to Treadwell if Treadwell like exclusively lived within California and surfed, and was also a huge nerd.
I'm looking this up to see if I can find what
you're
talking about.
Yeah. Because
I have a discerning eye. I could tell you if someone's making fun of Timothy Treadwell. I could do it.
You let me know. I'm not sure. I sort of thought of it and I was like, I don't know if this is what they're particularly riffing on. It kind of seems like
not.
it.
This guy doesn't have a bandana on.
Okay.
I think the bandana. Oh yeah, and this guy has like a spiky necklace or like a beaded necklace. No, this is a mall ninja for sure. Like this is a guy with a sword. Like
I don't even know. Okay, all right, that's not exactly what I'm talking about. But I do know that like what I am talking about. It's not like a direct riff on it, but it's.
This isn't what you're talking about, because
right?
this came up with when I searched Smosh the Chosen.
Oh yeah. So that I don't know. There was a guy who made the joke before him. Another like crew member made the joke before him. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Let me search Smosh Timothy Treadwell, and we'll see what comes up.
No, because it's not a riff on. I guess I should say it's not a riff on like Timothy as much as it's a riff on. I don't want to say mania. That sounds weird. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to define this in a normal way. So I'm gonna skip past it.
That's fair. Yeah, you're good. But I don't think that there's a good faith reading of this guy. It was queer or I don't think that's. I don't know. Maybe someone could make it.
No.
I think you could have a queer reading of this movie. I think that could be interesting. But we don't have the kind of disk space on my hard drive to go for 6 hours, so we won't get into it.
That's fair.
But the last, I think, stone unturned about this movie is the score. The fucking score in this is transcendent. I know I messaged you "Hoo Yip Hoo Yip Hoo" like 6 weeks ago. That like transports me to another realm. Like when that song comes on, it's like fucking heroin. Like it's just like a full body melty experience. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I
almost cried again at the end hearing that.
It's so
I was
good.
like, oh.
And then the plane pilot says, and Treadwell is gone. He changes the lyrics.
Yeah,
that's fucking great. Like it just wow. Yeah, it's like what a perfect little like period at the end of this movie. Obviously the score throughout is really. It could be really cheesy. I actually, this is funny. You're gonna laugh. I watched the behind the scenes making of documentary about the music of this movie.
I'm not gonna laugh. That's sick. Yeah.
And it's all improvised.
Discovered?
So it was like shot in a studio with a band, but they basically like they did improv, like they jammed. And Herzog would be like, "Oh, I want you to take it down a little bit," or "Oh, I want you to, don't follow the image on the screen exactly, like, feel more like this," or, it's like totally mind blowing that someone was able to, make an electric guitar sound like this. This like very bold but very sweeping rootsy sound out of like an electric instrument is really crazy. Like it's cool. Yeah. It's fucking cool and like fits so perfectly.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything else to say about Grizzly Man from 2005, directed by Werner Herzog? Oh, I do.
I don't.
No Oscar, not
up?
even an Oscar nomination. This movie fucking
kind of
blanked.
fucked
up. What is wrong with it? Like, I was looking at the list of nominations again to get mad. March of the Penguins won, but like if you look at the fucking list of the 5 noms, it's like just stupid. It's fucked up that this movie is not in there. It's embarrassing. It's one of the more embarrassing things the Oscars have done, I think. Is to not even give this movie any acknowledgement at all.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else to say now that I've interrupted you?
I don't think so.
You sound so sad about it.
This movie made me sad. This movie definitely had high highs and low lows. But like I know I'm an easy mark. Treadwell made me cry just like talking to him. Even if this movie was like just like looking into the parts of his life where if this movie didn't have any commentary on his death, it was just the snippets of his life that we got to see. It would still make me cry because like it's very tender in what it shows us. Yeah, and it's moving. It shows us like such a I don't know, obviously struggling person. Yeah. I don't know. Like I just want to go out there and hug him. You know, I want to tell him, hey man, everything's gonna be all right. Like let's figure out what's going on. Maybe we don't hang out with the Bears for one of these seasons. You know, we see what we can do. Back home. Yeah. It's like I don't know. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to.
Yeah. Well, it's tough to watch somebody retreat into isolation and like. Yeah. I know I got really hyped up talking about how this movie predicted 21st century isolation. But just anytime you watch somebody do that and then it ends in their demise, it's really, really sad because, you're like, well, he died alone. I mean, even though he had Amy out there, like, it doesn't sound like they were having a great relationship up to that moment. So, it's
kind of feels like he dragged her into it in some ways.
Yeah,
right?
Especially they were fighting.
Especially the staying later. Right. Yeah, they were fighting because she didn't want to stay. And she was afraid. Yeah. When he said she was afraid of bears, started busting out laughing. What the fuck? That's crazy. It's so shocking because like you hear about her.
Maybe he was slinging good dick.
He must have been, bro.
That feels horrible to say.
He must have been.
That's like one of the only times I've ever regretted saying something.
Bro, she flew out to see him in Alaska to hang out in a tent with him for a month. Yeah. He must have been, but like.
And she was scared of bears. Like that's
And she was scared of bears. They were sleeping 10 feet from bears, bro. Yeah. Like. Yeah. The one. Like piece of footage where we finally see her face near the end. Yeah, where that's like she's like trying to dip out a frame. Yeah, and the bear's right fucking there. Yeah, it's crazy. That's scary and frightening and sad and like I don't know. Yeah.
No, I feel you. It's an emotion. I've seen this movie so many times that the emotion does not hit me the same way, right? But like I would love to see this movie on a big screen. I like kind of experience it again for the first time in that way. Because I think there's so much there to be discovered, and there's no accessible Blu-ray of this movie. You cannot buy a Blu-ray, a US version. It just seems to not be for sale. They didn't make it. It's fucked up. Criterion, please. If there was ever a thing, you can do WALL-E, you can do Grizzly Man. So like, you can do K-pop Demon Hunters. You can put this out. So and have me write the essay. With this Pulitzer as my proof of concept. Good movie. Ricky, movie. I feel like you should do a Rick's Pick because I feel like I dominated your Rick's Pick episode with my Lanes frame. So
I did not have a Rick's Pick picked.
I will say this. This will be our this will be our start of Awful August. So if you want to do anything we never talked about, but hoo yip. Hoo yip hoo. Hoo yip hoo hoo yip hoo. The long hose are gone.
So I'm going to pick
Sorry, go ahead.
An animated movie.
Well, I hate this already. I regret it.
Yeah.
I should have been
Let me look it up actually real quick.
What's the name? Or do I not get
Pat Labor 2.
Pat Labor? Oh.
Yes.
A robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost 2 hours long. Did you see Akira is coming back into theaters? They're like they're like running it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the part of the reason why I picked this movie is that it depicts a police state, and the scenes that I've seen of it are like very like the animation looks beautiful, and it's like very, I don't know, looks cool.
Are we gonna be
I
like
wanted to watch it.
behind for watching the number 2 of this movie? Like,
so I don't believe so. I think they're a bit separated. We might, but
this is the.
I know this movie sort of strays
Ghost in
away
the Shell.
from. Oh, interesting. Which also so fucking good.
Yeah,
we should do that movie. Maybe. Well, this came out 2 years before Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I would watch the Ghost in the Shell movie if you wanted to do that.
You want to watch Ghost in the Shell? We can watch Ghost in the Shell.
No. I'm not trying. No. We can watch. Let's watch Pat Labor 2, the movie.
I don't know anything about the movie outside of like I've seen a few clips from it. I don't know how much we would be missing off of not having the first movie.
Oh, so,
the second movie, it does say it focuses heavily on political themes. So like I feel like it might appeal to you a little bit more. I'm hoping that this is. I mean, I'm hoping that this is like Gundam-esque, right?
And not Wicked City, which is where my
and not
mind
Wicked
went
City.
when you're like,
yes,
I saw a clip
yes,
of this
I
on the
know.
internet.
That's what I'm saying. Like I hope I didn't just see like the 30 seconds that isn't like filled with like horrific rape, right? And then, like, I don't know. I've got a bad track record.
If you want to do
but,
that,
like, it's got decent.
Here's what I'll say. I hope that after this episode with Man with a Movie Camera, that you understand the importance of vetting your movies just a little bit before we watch them for the show. Not because that movie wasn't good. We did have things to talk about, but if that had been the only thing, we would have only talked for 30 minutes.
It would have been tough.
So,
yes, you're right. Yeah.
We would have had to go long. We would have ended up talking about Obsession again just to pad the hour. But,
oh, God.
So if you want to watch Pat Labor 2, I think that's fine. If you'd rather do Ghost in the Shell because you're not confident, that's fine too, but I don't want to force you. We can always do Ghost in the Shell later, but your call.
I'm taking a shot.
Okay.
I'll say let's do Pat Labor 2.
Cool.
I do want to eventually do Ghost in the Shell because I fucking love that movie. It's sick, but it's one that I've seen before, so I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. Let's do something new.
Okay, cool. Give us a who yip. We already did that.
Oh, first, yeah.
Read the...
Next week, we want to watch
good point.
Pat Labor 2, the movie, directed by Mamoru Oshii,
Isn't
1993.
Because it's 2 eyes?
Oshii. Yes. Mamoru Oshii.
Cool. Okay. Who yip, we just both do it.
Ooh, yep. Ooh,